Do another one.
Inconceivable!
Whoa.
Nice.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
I'm impressed. Alright, so now Batsy. So now that we're trying to avoid the whole copyright thing, what's your new name going to be?
Do you think I really need one?
Well, after the wardrobe change, I figured you were going to be little purple Batsy Good, little fuchsia Batsy Good.
What about well-read Batsy Good?
Little wordplay, alright.
Story J. I think we're live.
No, it's not. We're not even scheduled to go on yet. We just...
Yeah, the little red light is on.
Hey, welcome back to Storytime. I'm, as always, your... I'm good, buddy. Yeah. I, as always, am your ever-prepared host, Story J. You came at a good time. Yours truly has been chosen to be the chaperone as the kids go trick-or-treating.
If you have a costume.
I've got a costume.
Who are you going as?
I'm going as myself.
Ugh, this again.
Oh, what, you don't believe me?
Like the one about the chocolate mousse that came to your house for dessert?
Ooh, girl, we gotta work on those homophones.
Do you have any actual scary stories?
Do I have scary stories?
Yeah?
No, I got nothing. No.
Not one? We can handle it.
I'm not falling for that again. Y'all couldn't even handle my old kids' movies.
But
I'm not dealing with any angry phone calls, no emails. No. With me once last unicorn.
But Story J, we can handle a little excitement.
Look, I'm not going to tell you guys any really scary stories because I wouldn't want to really scare you guys. But that's not to say my stories don't have any excitement. And a few monsters in them.
Really?
That's right. Now, I really have to get my costume going. But I'll start you guys off with a classic. The monstrous of all monster stories. It's got goblins, claws, stomping, and a light jazz number. My friendly readers, I give you Maurice Sendak's classic, Where the Wild Things Are. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night, in Max's room, a forest grew, and grew, and grew, until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day, and in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws, till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with a magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely, and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye, and sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day, and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And it was still hot.
So one thing I don't get, is Max like a Jedi? How'd he tame the wild things?
Well, maybe the monsters weren't exactly monsters.
They sure look like monsters to me.
And maybe the island, where Max went off to many years in a day, wasn't exactly an island. You ever get so mad or you have all these feelings and you don't know where to put them? You could stomp, you can jump, you can yell. But there are others that don't like yelling. So what if that wild thing takes all those feelings and stomps and cries and screams and yells in a place that they can dream of, where they can stomp and cry and dream and scream all those feelings out? But even after all the stomping, crying, and yelling, they might come to a place where they see all that stomping and yelling doesn't solve what they're feeling and thinking. And they know the one place where everything will always be all right is where the people who love them will be. The world can be a crazy place. So a boat to an island where a wild rumpus happens, some of those monsters, those feelings, once they're out, might help make the world a little bit less scary.
But what if some of us have some trouble with seeing the monster?
Well, I'd have to say in most cases, the monsters you're seeing aren't really real monsters at all. Take the Frankenstein monster.
I'd rather not take the Frankenstein monster.
Alright, this might be a little more educated than I thought. Alright, let's switch tracks. This is the De-Monstified 5000. It takes monsters and goblins and takes all the scary out of them. Like this guy, Frankenstein's monster. But if I reverse here and show all the makeup and padding and paint, underneath it all is him.
Who's that?
Oh, that guy? This grandfather whose children begged him to be the narrator for How the Grinch Stole Christmas? This guy? His name is Boris Karloff. And after lots and lots of makeup, he is the Frankenstein monster.
That guy?
That guy.
Whoa.
See, monsters you see are all just people in makeup and costumes. Play acting, kind of like you guys for Halloween. Or, I guess in your case, every day.
We've literally been waiting all year for this.
I can see that. Now, let's see about this lovely lady.
I got this.
You know what, that's all well and good because in the movie she goes down like the Tidy Bowl man. But if you take her, run her through the De-Monstifier, take away the wicked, take away the green makeup, the pointy black hat, the noir French gowns, and voila. You have Margaret Hamilton, actress, coffee seller, and former kindergarten teacher. She even went on Mr. Rogers to show kids how she transformed into her character. And you want to know the best secret to dealing with monsters? Imagine them in silly or funny situations, like Frankenstein's monster. He can also be Herman Munster, or Frankenstone from the Flintstones, or just some guy who comes out only at Halloween to sell cereal. So you see, there's power in your joy, guys.
Maybe that's why they say laugh in the face of danger.
I get it. Anything that seems scary at first can be made into something silly.
And it's probably not really some big monster. And just really in your imagination. Thanks, Story J.
Anytime, kiddo. Here, I'll show you another story that'll help while I go get into my costume. Grown-ups, you might like this one too. Enjoy this animated story from Stephen Bosustow. Here is Noises in the Night.
Once upon a time, when Sherry was very young, she decided she didn't like the noises she heard in the night. She thought she heard noises of scary ghosts, and a witch, and a house falling down, and shoes walking by themselves, and a dragon breathing fire, and another strange noise, like a growl and a roar, and a wheeze and a whistle sound, all stirred together. The next morning at breakfast, she told her Daddy and Mommy all about the frightening noises. Daddy said, "Night noises are just like day noises." Mommy said, "There aren't as many noises at night, so they sound louder and different." And Petunia purred, and Violet wagged her tail, because they liked night noises. But Sherry didn't like them. That night, when everyone was snug in bed, she heard the noises again. "Daddy, Mommy, come quick!" "Mommy! Daddy! Mommy! Daddy! Mommy! Daddy!" "What's the matter?" her father asked. "I heard a tap, 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 and a noise that's a growl, and a roar, and a wheeze, and a whistle, all stirred together. Listen." Everyone was as quiet as a clam. Everyone listened. "The tap, tap, tap is your shade dancing against the window. But what about the other noise?" Everyone stood as still as a jar of jam. But no one, not even Sherry, could hear the noise. That was a growl, and a roar, and a wheeze, and a whistle, all stirred together. Her father and mother both thought she must have dreamed it, and Violet and Petunia agreed. So they all went back to their beds. But Sherry knew it wasn't a dream. She knew she really had heard it. She closed her eyes to listen. And the next thing she knew, it was morning. Every night, Sherry heard noises. And every night she called for her Mommy and Daddy. "Mommy! Daddy!" One night she called 5 times. "Mommy! Daddy! Mommy! Daddy!" Her ghosts, Daddy said, were an owl and a train. And her witch was only an aeroplane. The house falling down was thunder and rain. The shoes that walked were the tick and the tock of the grandfather clock. And the dragon was only a car on the block. When Sherry knew what those night noises really were, they seemed like friendly noises, not frightening noises. But the next morning, everyone was tired. Daddy almost forgot to shave. Mother almost forgot to cook breakfast. Petunia almost forgot to clean her whiskers. And Violet almost forgot to wag her tail. "This can't go on," Daddy said. "We have to think of something. We must get our sleep." So that night, when Sherry heard the noise that was a growl and a roar and a wheeze and a whistle, and she called for her Mommy and Daddy to come quickly, Daddy gave Sherry a pair of earmuffs to keep out the night noises. "These are spiffy. I'll sleep in a jiffy." And Sherry snuggled in her bed. But they prickled and tickled. They were worse than the noises in the night. When Sherry came down to breakfast the next morning, Everyone else was as wide awake as sunflowers. No more earmuffs, please. They kept me awake all night. But what about the noises? Sherry said she didn't mind the plane noises, and the train noises, and the thunder and rain noises, now that she knew they were friendly noises. But she still didn't like the I don't know what they are noises. Sherry's mother suggested that if she could turn all the noises she heard into I do know what they are noises, they would all be friendly. I know. If I draw pictures of all the noises I hear, maybe I'll find out what the growl and a roar and a wheeze and a whistle all stirred together noise is. She went to bed early that night. She drew pictures of all the I do know what it is now noises. There was the branch that creaked, the door that squeaked, and the faucet that leaked. There were mice eating rice, and the refrigerator making ice. They all turned out to be friendly noises, just as Mommy said they would. But hard as she tried, she just couldn't picture what made the growl and a roar and a wheeze and a whistle sound. How do you draw a wheeze? Suddenly, Sherry remembered she hadn't kissed Daddy and Mommy goodnight. She hurried out of bed, scurried downstairs, and opened the door to their bedroom. And then she heard it. It was the growl and a roar and a wheeze and a whistle all stirred together noise. Sherry almost laughed out loud. She scampered back to her room to draw a picture of the I do know what it is now noise. Sherry wanted Daddy to see her picture first thing in the morning. She put the picture by his alarm clock and gently kissed him goodnight. Wouldn't Daddy be surprised to find out that the noise that's a growl and a roar and a wheeze and a whistle all stirred together was nothing but his own snoring? And do you know something? It was the friendliest noise of all the noises in the night.
Why so glum, Betsy?
I never asked Story J how to carve a pumpkin, or even how to get one.
Well, that's easy. Let's just take a virtual field trip to a pumpkin patch.
Good thinking, Thortylocks.
Pumpkin patch, please.
Story J, we're waiting.
What kind of costume is going as himself? That's just what grown-ups say as a joke when they don't want to dress up. What?
All right, let's go.
Whoa!
Told you guys I'm going as myself. What do you think?
You never looked better.
All right, guys, get your stuff, get lined up, let's go. And to you guys, if you have any stories you'd like to share, just send them to storyjstorytime@gmail.com. So thanks as always, friendly readers. And remember, be silly, be wild, be creative, be thoughtful, and be you. And I'll see you next time.
Story J.
Story J.
On my way. I've always wanted to do this.
Fellow YouTubers, if you like what you see, please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see more, just click on the button where you can donate and be a paying contributor, where you can see more things like read alouds, drawing tutorials, virtual field trips, cartoons, and more. See more at Story J Storytime, and I'll see you next time.